Hello. It's been a bit since I did a painting video, but I decided I'd do one today. I will not be doing a Warhammer. Uh, I will not be doing my Reavers again today because I wanted to show something a little bit different. If you didn't watch the short I made yesterday, this is an Alhoon. I believe that's how you pronounce it. Uh, it also comes with little intellect devourers. I already finished up one. See if the camera can focus on it. It's pretty much just a little brain on legs. I didn't do the other one just because I wanted to have a kind of like a show one than the other. But I'll be focusing mostly on the Alhoon today. I already did a couple details. I did the tentacles on the back just because a lot of that is base layering. I tried out some color that I wanted to see how it would look on robes because I don't have a lot of green robe characters. And I think this looks decent. I also did the kind of weathered pages on the inside of the book. But aside from that, all I've done is a gray base, and I did some black shadow where the little robe lifts up on the bottom. But this is a little bit of a different setup. The table's still the exact same, but I'm using the camera stand that I do for the computer videos, so I'm not sure how well this will turn out, considering my hands are going to be kind of like really close up a lot of the time, as compared to the other video where I use the head, like the flash head thing, that's right here where I tape the phone to it. Hopefully this works a little bit better, but I'll still try and talk throughout this video, but I'll mainly be focusing on this. I have my paints set up here. These are what I think will look good on it, but I mean, I'll experiment with them, see how everything goes. If I don't like it, I'll maybe change it some other time, but show off the box, show off the box art. This is what it's kind of supposed to look like-ish, but I'm not going to be able to do that because I'm not that good of a painter. Plus, also, I'd like something not majority, like dark, super dark colors, because I already have a lot of miniatures like that. I want to have some variety. So, first off, I gotta get a brush. Let's go with the 3-0. Wet it first. Take a little bit off. Yep, it's good and damp. Let's start with something simple. The back of the book, or the cover. Got a little paint cup here. That should be good for right now. Where'd I put the lid? There it is. I don't want to get too much on the brush, but I don't want it to be too thin. I don't want to gunk up the details on the back of this either. Doing very, very, very thin strokes. Making sure just to catch the ridges. Don't want to gunk too much up on there. Have to get the front lip of it too. Right there. I don't know if I want to make the spine of the book a slightly darker or lighter brown, but for right now I'll just do all one color. I'll see how it contrasts later. Do the same on the other side. Oh, I got a bit of brown on one of his fingers. I'll clean that up later. Get the brown off the brush. Dry up the extra moisture. Get some fresh water on that. grab some more from the cup. Little white spot there on the edge of the book. Need a little bit more. Just a spot there, and there. Go over it with a second dry brush. I can get that up there because the fingers are right. Whoop. The fingers are right there. They're a little rough to see because they're kind of like thin. The only issue I find with this model is, like, since the fingertips are really thin, like this one particularly, it kind of like wobbles a bit. But I mean, as long as I paint it very carefully, it should be fine. Alright, I finished up the little bits I missed on the book. I didn't want to record all that because it's very hard to see, so you probably wouldn't have seen much of it anyways. Next, I'm gonna do like the insides, the robe bits here, just because they're larger, broader spaces, and I'll use a darker green because it's inside, which I will use. Actually, I don't have that here, but I will use Viridian instead. I'm gonna be using a 3-point brush. A little bit hard to see. Camera, there's a light right above me, so it's kind of shining low. Got a glare on that. Wipe that up. Grab some from in here. And that's a good amount. We'll see how it looks. Alright, that looks decent. Repeat the same process on the other side. Oop, I got a little on the lip there, but that'll be fine. I can clean it up later. Grab a little bit more paint. I recently bought, well, not recently, but I'm recently working on a lot of kind of like liches and kind of like sorcerer type figures, just because I've got quite a lot of like fighters, some paladins. Whenever I usually play D&D, I like to play a paladin, but I do also have the DM's curse, so I don't get to play as a player very often. But I figured having a couple like evil sorcerer eldritch type villains would be nice to be able to run. Give a quick look over. This little bit here is a glaze of army green. I might do that for the top of the hood, but I might try and do just like a plain layer coat of it and see how that looks as well. I did a glaze first because I wanted to see if it would set right, and if it didn't, I could just wipe it off. Also, when you touch it, the glaze, if you do a glaze, it has like a smoother texture than kind of like a rough acrylic paint, which no duh. Acrylics are different from like army painters, war paints, which I'm not sponsored or anything, but I really like to use them. I like the eyedropper bottles. I got the official licensed drop bottle, one of D&D's ones, which I like this one a lot. It has a lot in it, surprisingly, because like the paint in this is very strong, but also like, it's a little tough to get out sometimes because of the odd shape. But whatever you want to get, paint with. I've used acrylics for like ever since I started painting. There's nothing wrong with acrylics. It's just most people prefer to be able to like stick them into like a little paint cup or paint pot. I've got a little paint palette here, which I used for a while. Paint palettes like this I like because even if you get like a lot of messy paint here, if you have like a hobby knife like this, doesn't really matter what kind, you can kind of dig it into the end and scrape it off. Because I don't care if like this is like the surface is in perfect condition, because it's gonna get covered with paint again. Like it's a messy hobby at times. So I believe next I will do the hands and kind of face of this guy. Typically for these, I like to do a purplish. Like I have a mind flare here. I think I showed this one already in one of my previous videos. I like to do kind of purple on it. But I don't want every mind flare I have to be purple. I kind of want to go with what's on the box art. Not like bar for bar, but I want to have kind of like a white, palish, sickly kind of skin to it. And Mummy Robes is a good off-white. Give me 1 second. See that there? It's a little different from the matte white. And for a little extra flavor, I'm going to mix in a little bit of skeleton bone with it to give it a little bit of a darker, like a darker but still pale hue. You don't put a lot in there. If you're mixing first time, because usually you want to see how it turns out before you dump a whole bunch on it. But also there's not a lot of space on this model where it's going to be going on. Probably just 1 or 2 layers. And here down in the middle we have our mixture of the two. I've already got some on my brush. So I'll stick it on his hand first, see how it looks. A little too bony colored, so I'm going to add a little more white to the mixture. We're going to try again with the new mixture. And I'd say that's a pretty good undertone if the camera would focus on the hand. Actually, I think, whatever. Yeah, getting the camera to focus sometimes is a little difficult. Oop. Keep you in place. We'll do some of the tendrils on his face. Let me angle him a little bit better so you can see. I'll probably go over with a little bit of a brighter color later, but I just want this to catch kind of like the ridges in between. Do his face as well. Do parts of his face. His forehead. And I'll get his other hand, the one on the book. We'll go over where I messed up before. Get some clean water on this. There we go, that's better. Catch the underside of this hand. I'll paint over the claws for right now, like little clawed fingers, but I'll probably do them in a darker color afterwards. And for the last part of this video right now, I want to do a little bit of the robes, which I will use Goblin Green for. Got our Goblin Green in there. We're going to use a 2-point brush. Put some clean water on that. Don't want it to be too wet though. Stir that up a bit, make sure it's not too gunky, and we'll see how it looks. It's a bit runny. I'll take my little sponge thing, I don't really know what it's called, and I'll kind of dry the excess off. Leave us with a kind of pale green there, which isn't entirely what I'm going for, but I'll just dry my brush off a bit more. Get some more green in there, mix it up well. Try again. Yeah, now that's the consistency I want. Get an even spread, make sure it doesn't stack up on itself too much. Go all the way around. Grab a little bit more. Oop. Just adjusting that around there. Whoop, missed a spot. Right in there. Of course, want to make sure I get the underside of the robe as well. We're almost all the way around the bottom part of the robe, or cloak, whatever you want to call it. I think that looks pretty good. Of course, when you finish, you get the dirty paint off your brush and get a close-up on him. Alright, we got the brown of the book, the under part of the cloak. I don't know how well you can see the kind of like pale color, because like if you contrast the gray of the sleeve to kind of like the grayish skin tone of his hand, you can see the difference a bit better. But considering I don't want the video running too long, that'll be all for this segment. I don't know if I'll record the rest of this, but I still wanted to make something, a painting video that wasn't just Warhammer. But aside from that, I'm still Crux Terminatus. This has been more painting, and I will see you next time.